Select the hole blanking mode. Start the oil pump. Upper-lower plate positioning. Click the reset button. Origin positioning for the lower plate. Insert the 2 pcs of positioning pipe on the lower plate. Click the manual page. Click manual start. Click the green positioning push button. Recheck the lower plate. Open the side door on the top of the machine. Lift the positioning pipe up. Pass through the hole of the upper plate. Test both sides to see if it can pass smoothly. Make sure that positioning pipe is removed before running the machine. If the positioning pipe cannot pass through, or it is extremely difficult to pass through, adjust the position of the lower plate. Solution. Click on System Parameters. Select the account and enter the password. Log in. Find the lower plate push position. The smaller the negative value entered, the closer the lower plate moves to the inside of the machine. The larger the negative value entered, the closer the lower plate moves to the operator's position. According to the actual situation, accurately adjust the lower plate position. Press the reset button to reset. Push out the lower plate. Click on Manual Start. Click on the green positioning push button. Recheck the lower plate. Then try again to pass the position pipe through the upper plate. If it passes smoothly, it means that the upper and lower templates are positioned accurately. Upper plate adjustment. Click the plate change page. Enter the total paper length is 730. Hole blanking paper push working point 5. The sum of these two values cannot be bigger than the total stroke 735. Press the reset button to confirm. Click the upper plate change start. Turn off the oil pump. Open the locks on both sides. Release the baffle. Fix the baffle horizontally. Slowly pull out the upper plate. Place the paper in the center of the upper plate with the bite side facing outwards. There are 3 lines on 4 sides of the plate, according to the center mark on the paper, or use a measuring ruler. Measure the distance from the edge of the paper to the scale line. Put the paper on the middle of plate. First, remove the small gaps. Observe the gaps. Is the hole completely exposed? After confirming that the paper position is okay, insert the pins closely around the paper. Prevent paper from moving. Poke a hole with a small pointed pin. If the hole is too small, use a pin to enlarge it, then fix it with a small pointed pin. Fix each product with at least 2 to 3 pointed pins. Take the ruler to this scale line. Measure this distance. Record the number on paper. Write on the product. Do not write on the waste part. To the scale line. Record the number on paper. Peel off the waste part. The number will not be lost after peeling off the waste part. The window in the middle should also be removed. Fill the gap between the products with pins. Use 3 mm pins in the small gaps. Make sure to push the upper plate to the end. Loosen the rotating knob and tighten firmly. Close the small doors on both sides. Fasten the lock. Turn on the oil pump. Upper plate replacement completed. Install gauge. Find these 2 holes. Screw holes in the gauge. It should be in line with these 2 holes. And use the recorded number. When we installed the upper plate pins, the distance between this line on the upper template and the paper is equal to the distance from the gauge to the 3rd scale line. Align and tighten the screws. Measure the distance from the begin to the end. If there is any deviation, adjust it. Make sure the gauge and scale lines are horizontal. Tighten and secure. Install long gauge. Find these 2 holes. The hole position of the long gauge should be on this line. Same as the upper plate, each of the 4 sides has 3 scale lines. The long gauge surface position is placed. Just now we measured the distance between the paper boundary and the 3rd scale line on both sides of upper plate. The lower plate needs to measure the distance between the reference surface and the 3rd scale line. The 2 distance must be the same. Tighten the screw. The other end should also be accurately positioned with a ruler. Keep the gauge surface and the 3rd scale line parallel. Tighten the screw. Lower plate positioning. Align a piece of product paper with the gauge and the long gauge. Be careful of the window part. Do not move the window part when peeling off the good parts. Secure the scrap edges using black magnetic attachments. Leaving waste part and the window part of paper. Start oil pump. Click on the lower plate, change start. Turn off the oil pump. Insert the pins along the edge. White pin cover facing up. Insert the pins in rows. Start the oil pump. Click on the lower plate, change done. Click on the lower plate, change start. Push out the pins. The paper is not pushed up. It means the pin position is correct. Click on the lower plate, change done. Retract the pins. Remove the magnet and the waste paper. Clean the lower plate. Take a small amount of paper. Arrange neatly. Push to the end. Click on the manual page. Click on manual start. Click the green positioning push button. Repeatedly press the down oil cylinder buttons up. Eject the pin upwards. The top edge of the paper must be above the registration gauge. Repeatedly press the upper oil cylinder button downward action. Lower the upper platen. When approaching the paper surface, alternately press the upper oil cylinder up and upper oil cylinder down buttons. Press the reset button to eject the lower platen. Observe whether the pin mark pressed by the needle has reached the product part. If the pin mark touches the product, the position of the needle in the upper platen needs to be readjusted. Product test. The product detection gratings on both sides must be laid down before operation. Use both hands to activate the switch and perform the first waste edge removal of the paper. Once confirmed to be functioning properly, it can be put into official operation.